Good evening, Facebook and social media, YouTube channel. We are here for another discussion on JADASA Live. I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank you for taking your time to chime in on the discussions. We are excited about what we're going to talk about tonight, ladies, because this is about us getting our things, getting our houses in order, our not only just our physical house, our spiritual house, our emotional houses, our everything that involves us. And so I just want to thank you for coming in on tonight. And tonight we have an awesome woman. This is my friend. When I tell you that this lady right here, when we met,
Bless
I
you.
think it was what, maybe 10, 15 years, 10 years ago, we
Maybe,
connected.
maybe.
And so, ladies, I want you to know that we have the dynamic. I call her dynamic because that's what she is to me.
God
Pastor
bless you.
Michelle Wright with us.
God bless
And we
you.
want to thank you for coming on Jot Alive. We have been going back and forth since the summer, and we finally got pinpointed this date and this time. And I want to thank you for
Yes.
coming out on the broadcast.
God bless you. We're glad to be here and honored to serve. And we love you. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And God blessings to you and your family.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We certainly need it. And so, Facebook, please share and like and share, like and share. If you have any people or any friends, associates, or family members who maybe not be on Facebook, we have a YouTube channel, Jadasa Live. Go out there and please subscribe to it. We want to get this around the world because the stuff we talk about, it is not local. It's not just for local. It's not just for St. Louis. It's not
Absolutely.
just for this region. It's for anybody who has an ear who's going through because we are ladies, women, men, children, we all go through. And this platform here is to encourage and uplift and edify and
Yes.
educate because we
Amen.
don't know it all, but we know how to bring some people on here to talk to us and to help us get ourselves together. All right. So I
Amen.
want you all to know that also go to our website, jadasa.org. If you want to see any of the previous broadcasts, they're housed out on our website. You can go there to jadasa.org, and please give us some comments. Talk about if you even know some people. Go to our website. We have Tell My Story. Everybody has a story to tell, and your story can help somebody. I promise you, it can. And so tonight, with all the stuff that's going on, Pastor, you know, um, just 2020. Somebody text the other day, and we were talking, and they said, boy, 2020 was a beast. I said, yeah, but 2021 is gonna be a beauty because I'm speaking that.
It
I'm
is.
speaking it. It is, and so, with all the stuff that's been going on and, life and things that's going on, issues and jobs and losing jobs and family members and struggles and, it's just time to look at ourselves to find out what we need to add and what we need to subtract. And so tonight, ladies, our topic of discussion is doing a life audit for your happiness. What do you think about that, Pastor? I think she's frozen. We're going to have to get her back in. Pastor, she's frozen. So we're going to get her back in. And so tonight we are talking about that life audits for your happiness. I don't know if she's going to come back in, but we were having some problems when we were doing all this um, fixing up the mic and the sound and some things were going on. So what is a life audit? Everybody know what auditing. When you hear about an audit, for some reason we always clam up. Oh, I don't want to deal with an audit. A person come in, look at your business, and you got to show all your business. You got to show them things that you may want them to see and stuff you may not want them to see and stuff. But and that's the same thing with us with our personal lives. Some things we don't want people to see. We don't want people to see some things that's going on in our lives, you know. But when we want to have an audit, when you have an audit done on your life, you have to make sure that, first of all, you're open to it. You're open to it. Hey, whatever you find, we got to be true to ourselves and know that everything that's in our lives is either for us or it's not for us. And it's up to us to either continue to make deposits of those things that's going to add value to our lives, and then make withdrawals, get rid of those stuff that's taken away. Because I remember someone said, you're either adding or you're subtracting. You're either an asset or a liability. And not just with a person, but even yourselves. And I always say, Lord, let me be an asset in whatever capacity that I'm in. Let me be an asset and not a liability. And so a lot of times, with what's going on in the world today, even in our churches, in our homes, on our jobs, in our schools, all of these institutions that we find ourselves in, a lot of times we have to make sure that if it's something that's going to add to our life, fine, good, we all for it. But if it's something that's in your life that's subtracting, that's taking away your happiness, that's taking away taking away your peace, it's time to cut it loose. It's time to cut it loose. Because my thing is this: I may not have a lot of money, but I'm going to have some peace in my house. I'm going to have some peace in my surrounding. I don't want to be around someone I'm got to always question and wonder, and if I'm doing for them, will I get that return, that ROI, that return of investment? Sometimes, we invest in a lot of stuff that we don't get a return. I've learned that the hard way. And I've gotten my feelings hurt so many times because when I put out and I would give, and everything dealing with my heart, I would give my heart. I would give my last. I would do everything because I was always other people's cheerleaders. I'm your champion. You got it. I'm there for you. But I didn't get that same thing in return. What I invested in other people, I didn't get the return to me. And so sometimes we have to realize that, every investment is not a good investment. Every investment. And so we have to realize when we invest in something, you invest in not just money, you invest in your time, you invest in your talent, you invest in your heart, you invest in your mind, you invest in your emotions, you're investing all these things that make up you into somebody or something. And if it's not giving you a return, it's time to realize, it's time to order some stuff. It's time for me to let it go. First of all, let me put a disclaimer. I'm not telling nobody to leave a husband, leave your wife. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm not pushing divorce or separate. I'm not doing that today. We're talking about your happiness. What it's going to take for you to have happiness. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at what it's going to take for you to have your happiness. And sometimes we have to take a look at our lives, Pastor. Pastor, you there? We're having some issues with this. We have to take a look at our lives to realize, Pastor, let me know when you're in. Come in and say something, that everything that's in our lives is not for us. And I think about this. One time I did a seminar, and the seminar was, what's love got to do with it? And I know y'all, it might take y'all some different places, but it's probably not where I'm going. It's probably not where I'm going. So my thing is, when I say what's love got to do with it, sometimes we have misplaced priorities. We have different types of love that we display that's not right. What I'm saying about this, okay, when we know about the agape love, the God kind of love. We know about the eros love. That's the love between a husband and a wife. We know about the brotherly love. Okay. For an example, let's go with the mother or the maternal or the paternal love. And a lot of times we get those things crossed. Pastor, you there? We get those things crossed, and that's when we end up getting our feelings hurt. For example, sometimes we, as a mother, and I'm gonna speak as a mother, we have that maternal love. Of course, we love our children. We have our maternal love, you know. But then sometimes when our children are not doing right, for example, you displaying your maternal love to a son or a daughter who is maybe strung out on drugs or maybe out in the streets doing whatever, and they're bringing harm to themselves, they're bringing harm to your family. Okay, yeah, it's motherly love is always going to be there, but sometimes you got to push that to the side and deal with tough love. And because we don't put it in perspective, the wires get crossed, and then people get hurt. Are you that, Pastor?
There we are.
People,
I
okay, you got.
am. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. So we're just talking about.
We are praying through. We are praying
All
through.
right, all
Catch me
right.
up.
Yeah, so I'm just talking about right now. We were just talking about auditing, getting rid of stuff. You're either a plus or a minus, you're an asset or liability. And not just you, but when we invest in people and we invest in things and we don't get that return that we put out, a lot of times that's where we end up hurt, because I've been there. I've invested my heart and my mind and my thoughts and my emotion into somebody or into a thing or an idea or whatever it is, and you didn't get that return back, and then we get our
No.
feelings hurt. And so what I'm saying is, a lot of times we have to sit back and look back through all 2020 whatever over our lives and do an audit. Because like you said, when we do an audit, when a person come to your business and do an audit, they find stuff that you forgot was there or didn't even know was there. And so sometimes when you do an audit, you stuff gonna come up that you like, wait a minute,
To be
I didn't even
healthy
know I
is
was dealing with that.
everything.
Huh? I didn't know that the audit, I didn't know stuff was there. And so we have to be open to receive correction. Can you hear me, Pastor? We have to be open to receive correction. We have to be open to making the life changes, because guess what? That audit, when a person comes into your business or your life to audit stuff, whatever is going on, your books, auditing your books, it's checks and balances. You got all your assets and you got all your liabilities, and your assets and your liabilities supposed to you supposed to balance when you have some balanced books. And a lot of times we are not balanced. We got a lot over here, and we're depleted on this side. And so what I'm saying is, the asset, we give out a lot, but then we're depleted because we're not getting that same thing in. And then now we're not happy. We're not happy. We don't have any joy. Um, it shows in our face. It shows in our countenance. It shows in our manner, in our behavior. It shows in all those areas because we don't have balance. Everybody gonna have ups and downs. I'm not saying, everybody gonna be like they own La La Land forever. It's gonna always be ups and downs. But the point is, we got to learn to have balance in our lives. And if somebody is constantly bringing you down, or constantly being negative to you, or constantly being a liability, taking away your joy and happiness, it's time to do an audit and determine, okay, I'm going to put this right here. I'm not telling you get rid of nobody or throw nobody away, but you have to determine where you're going to place them in your life. Are you going to give them forefront? Are you going to give them the front row seat to your life, the front row seat to open the door into your heart? Or are you going to do that? Or you understand, what, right now, this thing is not going the way I want it to go, and I have to maintain my happiness. So I'm just going to lay this to a side right here. I'm just going to put it to the side and work on me. And see, a lot of times We like to work on everybody else. We think everybody else needs to work on themselves, but we don't like to work on ourselves, because a lot of times when we work on ourselves, we ain't gonna like everything we see. We're not gonna like everything we see. If you, especially if you ask God to show you ask God, God, show me. Be prepared to see and to accept what he shows you. And if he shows you anything that's not what you want, and that's definitely not mimicking and mirroring his likeness, then that is your responsibility to change. That's your responsibility to change. Auditing is not just getting other folks out your life. Auditing is getting stuff out your life as well. If you have a heart issue, if you have bitterness or resentment or jealousy or anger or hurt from pains, okay, let it go. Yeah, he may have left you. She may have left you with somebody else. You dealt with them when they ain't have no job, they ain't have no money, they ain't have no looks, they ain't have nothing. But then all of a sudden, when they get a piece of two quarters to rub together, all of a sudden they started buying, clothes, and they started looking good, and all of a sudden you're not enough. Okay, let it go. That's then and there. Move on. Guess what? Don't tie your future to your past. Don't tie your future to your past. Your past is your past. Acknowledge it. Yes, it was hurtful. Yes, it was painful. I am telling you firsthand, I understand firsthand about hurt and pain and resentment and rejection and all of that. I understand it, but you have to get to the mind to start speaking to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. Sometimes my husband's like, you ain't not talking to yourself. And sometimes I kind of, have to check myself like, wait a minute now. Okay, I am talking to myself, but it's okay. Talk to yourself, because you need to encourage yourself. You need to share and tell you, yeah, you go make it, you go do it. Sometimes we have to, because we don't get that from everybody else. We don't get it from nobody. Everybody is not going to always be your cheerleader. We can't look for cheerleaders all the time, or your pom pom, go, go, go. No, you're not going to have that. Not saying that they're jealous, not saying that they're envious, but folks got life. Everybody's dealing with life. People probably going through the same thing you're going through. They may not have shared it with you, but it's time for us to take an introspective look at ourselves, so that we can know that, going forward, it's my happiness. Be selfish with yourself. I tell people that all the time. It's okay to be selfish with yourself, because women, we tend to give out to everybody. We got the husband, the boyfriends, we got the kids. Sometimes we're dealing with the parents, our elderly parents. And sometimes we got siblings, they act like they don't have half good sense, and you the big brother, sister, even though you're not the big brother and sister age wise, but maybe mentally, you got to deal with that. Then you maybe got the dog and a cat, because when you get the dog and cat, and the kids say they want the dog and a cat, but when you get the dog and a cat, who end up taking care of it? You. Okay, so then you got your job. Then you got all these things that we're constantly putting out. We don't have time to do this. We don't have time to pamper ourselves. We don't have time to, just take a break. Take a break. Give yourself a time out. When you come home, audit your life. You know what? I can't be stressed every day. Not every day. Now, not every day. I'm coming home stressed over something, whatever it is, whatever that thing is. You come home, give yourself 30 to 45 minutes, and tell everybody that when you come in the house, don't say nothing to me, don't talk to me, don't ask me nothing. Give me 30 to 45 minutes to decompress. Because we come in throwing shoes and throwing purse in the corner and go right in the kitchen and wash our hands and start pulling out the pots and pans to cook. We come in doing that. We don't even get a chance to sit down. We come in and throw our coats out, and we folding clothes, or we doing something else. And by the time we really sit down, it's right before we get ready to get in the tub or the shower to go to and then go to bed. No, we got to do an audit. Look at your life. Look at our lives and say, you know what? No, I'm better than that. I'm more than that. I'm important to me. And I'm not saying that your family or your friends or your spouse or your significant other do not feel that you are important to them. And I'm pretty sure they do, and I know you are. But sometimes we put other people's opinion over our own. Sometimes we say, well, sometimes we can't wait for the amen. Give yourself pat your own self on the back. Give yourself an own amen. Your own amen. Sometimes we have to do that. We have to do that so we can start valuing our time and our space, valuing our emotion. I'm gonna tell you what I said. I said, God, this is not gonna be me. This is not gonna be me. Me and my husband, we was walking on the track one day, and I saw this elderly couple. We kind of chit chat and talk with them. They said they was like in their 70, maybe 71, 72. They was walking around the track, walking together. He all uptight, upright and walking and just got a pep in his step. She walking and kind of all bent over and kind of, I said, no, you could tell maybe had few kids and stuff, but bent over. And she looked older than him, and they had already told us their age, and so she wasn't older than him, but life. And I'm like, that is not gonna be me. I told him, you are not gonna be walking a pep in your step, and I'm 2 steps away from a cane. That is not gonna be me. So, ladies, it's time for us to take an inventory. Take an inventory in your life to see what should stay, what should be put over in the corner, and what should go. I'm not saying go home and do it tomorrow and start kicking folks out and throwing stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, just take some time to just take an introspective look at your life and see. Go back to just this year, because I'm telling you, 2020, yeah, 2020 is one for the books. I'm gonna tell you, 2020 is one for the books. I said, you know what? Because it was 2020, I don't think too many people saw this coming. I don't think nobody had the vision for this one. But go back to January 1 to now and look at all the things of course we know the entire world, the economy and stuff, but I'm not even talking about the macro. I'm talking about the micro. Your little world, your home, your job, who you deal with, your world. And just look how the interaction went. Okay, were you always the one putting out? Were you always the one calling, checking on people? I'm not saying not to do that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't get on here and say, oh, she's saying it. No, I'm just saying just take a look and say, you know what? Every time I look around, I'm always calling and seeing about such and such, but they don't never call me, And I'm not saying throw nobody away. Just prioritize stuff. Okay, maybe you put them on priority number 2, put them down to number 10. That's all I'm saying. And so, and every time you can't please everybody, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to please yourself. I'm about, making me happy because, for years, yes, ma'am, it's hurtful investing and not getting it in return. But then again, we have to stop setting such high expectations from people. See, Errol, you are so right. You are so right about that. Don't put people up here, because I'm gonna tell you, when you put them up here, you already setting yourself up for disappointment. Now, I ain't say put them down on the ground either, but you know what? You just don't put them on a pedestal, because people are people. When at the end of the day, people are people. People make mistakes. People get things wrong. People say stuff, and I'm not saying, just have a tally and you just marking down everything what somebody did, yep, there's strike 1, strike 2. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Michelle, Pastor, you gonna come on back in here, or you gonna come
I
on in
am here. I
here?
think it was my other device, but I'm here. Praise God. This should be
All
much better.
all
Praise
right, because
God.
I'm
Praise
over here
God.
just
Praise
I'm doing
God.
the
I'm
thing, you
here.
know. So we talking about auditing our life for happiness, and I just put a lot of stuff out there. So I done said a whole bunch. People listening. What do you want to share? Because like I was telling them, it's time for us. It's time for us because we give of ourselves so much to other people, and we may not necessarily get that return of investment. We invest in things and people, and we get our feelings hurt because we put that investment in. We may necessarily not necessarily get the return that we expect. Did Pastor Michelle leave again? So we gonna get this together, folk, okay? Because you know what, this has never happened like this since we've been doing this streamline. So but we gonna talk to these women.
Yes,
You
Lord.
all, we gonna get our stuff together. We gonna clean out our closets. You gonna clean out our spiritual closet. We gonna get all this junk
I'm
out of our
here.
heart. Can you hear me, Pastor? Can you please? Maybe if you start talking, your thing will stop messing up. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Pastor? Okay, y'all, we gonna clean our hearts out. Can you hear me, Pastor? You know, I love what God is doing in this time. I love encouraging and helping women. Because guess what? When He's giving me things and I'm talking to women and stuff, it's helping me. Because trust me, I definitely, I'm gonna tell you, I'm the number one person. Ain't got nothing. I ain't got it together. I depend on God every day. Because I'm gonna tell you, I could be a hot mess. Matter of fact, I ain't can be. I am a hot mess if I don't have Jesus. I'm a hot mess. I'm telling you that myself. And so I'm constantly taking inventory of my life. And a lot of stuff I don't like. I don't see it. I'm like, ooh, you sometimes you gotta talk to yourself like David encouraged himself. Sometimes you gotta tell yourself you tripping. You know what? You need to get yourself together. I have talked to myself like that. You know what? You need to chill. You need to get it together. And so it's okay to, take that inventory because you don't want nobody else, doing it for you. Sometimes you can do it yourself because if you take inventory yourself first, acknowledge it. It will be less painful if somebody else said because you've already acknowledged it. What do you have to say, Pastor
Right.
Michelle? Because I want to get you in here.
Well, I want to say, first of all, you're absolutely right. I believe that we are living in a time that is so easy for others to tell us what's wrong, but our reflection in our mirror is the best thing. And it's harmful sometimes for us not to acknowledge when we do have issues and concerns. And so, even in ministry, in life, we have a tendency to believe, hey, just being in the church, just doing this, going on through life as usual, that everything will be okay. But I thank God that He gives us wisdom to be able to talk and understand
Oh, okay, y'all. You know what? I'm gonna have to figure out
okay
what is going.
to
Come on,
talk
Michelle,
to.
Pastor.
We It's confident, and
Wow.
to. God is there. We would just trust that He has the master plan. The plan for our lives has been given when we were born. It wasn't just accepted the Lord or just when we came to a certain place. He recognized and knew that we need than just our and just each other. We are made to depend on Him as believers, but in this world, even if you're not a Christian, we all need somebody. So if we can get to the point that we can say, hey, God is first, He knows what He needs. But even if you're not a believer, to understand you were not created to be alone. You were created to be a part of, inclusive with. And when we recognize that, it's easier for us to relinquish, I'm going to use the word power, control to someone else. We're not going to always be 100. There are days we're going to mess up. I have days I have to pray through. I have days I go through. As you know, my husband had a stroke. My life literally changed. And so you have to learn to adjust and adapt. And when you adjust and adapt, you're going to face some things that are not pleasant. You're going to face some things that cause you to think about where you currently are. God has not forsaken you. He's not left you alone, but he's given us a way to get through. And that's the key we've got to stand on. What is our way of getting through? Many choose church, many choose the faith, but there are people who are not believers. But God's eyes is on everyone. And that's why
So
I'm going to say this
Pastor
too.
Michelle, Pastor Michelle, whether they're believers or not, I want you to share with them. Yes, we have to adjust and we have to adapt. But because we're talking about doing an audit for your happiness, because we got a lot of folks, saved and unsaved, or unhappy people. They're unhappy
That's
people.
right.
They don't have
That's right.
happiness.
That's right.
And
That's
so, what do
right.
you say to those people? What do you say to our viewers, our ladies
And
that's
so
out here
we have to
listening?
look at our life.
Okay, so hopefully we get her back on. And so you're right. We do have to adjust and adapt, and that's a part of your auditing, because when you find something that is not right, even in your own heart,
I
somebody put on here
want to say,
about clean my heart, about clean my heart. And so somebody put on here about clean my heart. Yes, we have to ask God to clean our hearts, because there's some things in there we don't even know about. There are some things in there that we don't even know until it comes up. And have you ever had that instance where something happened, like, ooh, and you did something or you said something and you was like, oh, I didn't know that was in me. Is it just me? Am I the only one, y'all? Lord help me, Jesus. Because I thought it wasn't just me, but I guess so. So, sometimes we do that and we say things, and but it lets us know, there's some cleaning that got to go on, not just people, but places. We can't go everywhere. There are certain places I'm just not going. I'm just not gonna go. There's certain things I'm just not gonna do. Did I used to do it? Yeah, I did. And matter of fact, not only did I do it, I enjoyed it. Because I'm gonna tell you, don't let nobody tell you different. Seeing and doing stuff that feels good. I don't care what nobody tell you, it does. Because if it didn't, people wouldn't be caught up in it, and it would be too hard to get out. Okay. So my thing is to look at our lives, look at the plus and the minus, and then we adapt and change. We adapt. What do you need? Adjust, because there has to be some adjustments. When a person is doing an audit in your books, they're adjusting some things. Sometimes something is over here that was a lie. You thought it was a liability and it's not, and they need to move it over here. Or something dealing with, maybe you put some money in the wrong bucket, and instead of putting it in maybe rent expense, it should have been in living, I don't know, something, other expenses. And so what it is, you have to adjust. You have to move stuff around. So the thing about it is, sometimes we got to move stuff around. You got to move stuff around so you can make sure you maintain your happiness and your peace. I'm about that. I'm about maintaining peace and happiness. Yes, you're not going to always be in somebody's amen corner. Everything is not going to always go your way. Everything's not going to always be the way we want it. But guess what? I want to be able to have peace that surpasses everything. I want to be able to have peace in no matter what. That surpasses everything. Because when you have your peace of mind, you can deal with stuff a lot better. When your mind is cluttered and clogged up, and you got all kind of other, it seems like when one thing happened and you already tense, it just seems like it's stuff just build on. It's just almost like it's just constantly building. Something else happened. Like what else can happen? I never say that. I don't care how bad it get, ladies. Don't say what else can happen. Don't say it out your mouth. You have what you say. Because when you say that, whew, I don't know. It's gonna happen. It happen. It seemed like when you put out, it seemed like when we say something, negative, it seemed like it comes past the past quicker than when we speak something. Just sometimes it just feels that way. But we know that what we speak, we put it in the atmosphere, and we know all about those things. So, but we need choosing our words and stuff. So, ladies, today it's about you, your happiness. Things haven't gone the way you want. You don't like the size you want like to be. Okay, do something about it. If you're unhappy about it, if you're unhappy now, if you're happy with your size and you're okay with it, then you're happy. Long as you're happy. But if you're unhappy with your size, you want to do a new hairdo, you want to move or whatever, you want to do a makeover, do what makes you happy, because it is time to get rid of the dead weight. It is time to get rid of the naysayers. It is time to get rid of the negative people and the negative things that's constantly weighing you down and that's pulling from your happiness. I go back with this all the time. If it's not a plus, it's a minus. If it's not an asset, it's a liability. It's either or. It's black or white. You're happy or you're not happy. You're saved or you're not saved. You're pregnant or you're not pregnant. Okay, let's just bring it down to the human part. It's either or. And so it's time for us to reevaluate some things. Pastor, are you here? Because we gonna fix this broadcast. There she go again. Pastor, are you here?
I am trying to stay present. I'm trying. But I do want to say this while we have this clearness right here. We were talking about adapting and adjusting. Let's talk about who we have in our life, because it's very important. I really believe
Yeah,
that we have to look around where our support systems are, who we choose to be a support to us, and what it is that they value as well as what we value. Sometimes we're in circles of people that don't value the same things. So that
exactly.
causes a problem for us in our living. So the first thing I would say, if we're going to do a life audit, is to be realistic about what has been working and what hasn't.
Come
And
on now.
the things that are seriously not working, those are the things we have to adjust, whether we accept that it is a problem or not, because it's going to get worse if we don't. Ever have something that you do and you just leave it alone? It doesn't change the condition of it. All it's going to do is get worse. So if
Right.
we find in our relationships, we find that we have multiple people. We have this friend this week, and then next week we've got another friend, and then everybody's doing us wrong. We have to look at the fact of what we're doing wrong in that situation. Everybody isn't going to be wrong about you if you have multiple changes. So, one of the first things I believe we can do is look at how many changes we actually have in our life, right? Whether it is in our family, whether it is in our family, whether you can't change. You're born in a family, it is what it is. But you can control the relationship you have with others by the way you have a foundation of love, truth, and honesty with yourself. You don't want to be in a relationship with anybody that constantly hurts you. That's not love. That's not caring about you. A person
Right.
that really loves
Right.
you and
Right. And
cares
not just
about
not
you and
necessarily
cares about
not
you are
necessarily
going to
hurting you.
value and treat you with respect.
Right. And not necessarily
Yeah.
hurting you
Yeah.
physically. It can be emotionally. It could be
Right.
verbally. If they're
Right.
constantly putting you down, or they're constantly disregarding you or
Right.
neglecting you, or as your ideas don't matter. And those, and I hate to go into it, but we're going their way. Those are types of abuse. Those are types of abuse, downing you and neglecting
It
you,
is.
making you feel less
It
than
is.
who you are. Anytime somebody you're around them, and when you ever been around somebody and you talk to them about something, and when you left, you wish you had never said nothing to them because they'd have made it worse. You like, you know what? I wish I had never said nothing.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes you have to make sure and you
Yes.
learn. Put that
Yes.
in your mental note. Okay, take note to self. I'm not gonna be talking to this person. Note to self. I'm not going to say this to her. I'm not going to share this with this person. Because when you walk away from somebody and you are not empowered and you're not lifted up and you're not feeling good about yourself, unless it's a correction, then you need to move on to somebody else. You need to get away from that person. Unless somebody is correcting you and it's true. But there, and let me put it like this, you all, let's make sure we say this. They're correcting you in love. Because don't come trying to correct me with a different spirit, because that's not gonna work. That's where we as the church we mess up. We want to correct people, but we don't correct them in love, because people can tell when you're doing something in love and when you're not. You can tell me
That's
anything
right.
you want. It's
That's
the way
right.
you say it and the spirit you come in. And so, unless someone is correcting you, but if you're around somebody and your spirit is just constantly going down, and your spirit, and they're just, you know how you stay around, so you get around somebody, and then by the time you leave, you just tired. You just have to take a deep breath because it's like they done sucked the air out the room. You don't need to be around that person. That person is pulling away from you. They're sucking the life out of you. They're sucking the
That's right.
joy out of you. They're sucking the
That's right.
happiness out of you. And so that's the person you need to know. You know what? This is a liability. This is not an asset. I'm gonna have to move this person right here. Now,
That's
again,
right.
as a disclaimer, I'm not saying Cynthia Bennett is saying go home and throw your husband out the window, or get rid of your girl, your wife, or whatever. I'm not saying it. I'm saying you just need to prioritize where you put people in your life.
And
You need
that's
to
true.
prioritize.
And that's absolutely true. And that's the reason I started by saying that it's important to have someone to talk to that you can trust. In the church, we do know, like I said, we use the word, and that is wonderful. And I do know God does heal. I do know that He makes a way. But if we can honestly say, there's nothing wrong with counseling as well. And when you counsel with someone, you want someone that is looking out for your best interest and that's going to be honest with you. We None of us need someone to let us believe that everything is 100% hunky dory when we know it's wrong. So
Right,
you want to start with a basis of truth. And then in that counseling that you receive, that you apply those tools. We may not know it all. It's simple
right,
things sometimes that can save our lives.
right,
If you are in a relationship, as my sister has said, that people are draining you, then you take a self note. And it's always polite and good to say, hey, I just can't. You can always excuse yourself from
right.
anything and anybody that's going to cause you harm. But again, keep yourself surrounded with people that have strength, that when you go through, the balance of a thing is just like in a marriage. Where one is weak, the other partner picks up. It is the strength of that partner. And
Yeah,
then that is how you live and grow in God and in life. And then that you're able to maintain. It's good to have people that are going to be honest. I keep saying that because we like people to be around us. Okay, let's take in life now. Everybody today is in for success. Everybody wants to let's go get it. Let's do this. But at the end of the day, with all those tools and things, we still need compassion. We
right.
still need to know what relationship value is. Even in business, you go into business contracts with people that are unbalanced, you're going to have some problems. So you have to learn to access your situation. First of all, here's one thing I always say is what you're in mutual. If you're the
Come
100%
on.
person doing everything, that is not a balanced relationship. You have to have
Exactly.
someone that's willing to invest as well as you are willing to invest their time, their money, their lifestyle, as far as being able to assist. You don't want somebody in your life that's a taker. They're taking everything out of you. They're taking, as my sister
Come
said, your
on now.
joy, your wisdom, your talent, your intellectual property. These are not people that love you or care about you. Because at the end of the
Right.
day, you want to know what every relationship yields. In my relationship with my husband, it yields for eternal life with him. It yields with no divorce. This is something we talked about. We went into this marriage understanding what we both wanted out of the marriage. Can you ask yourself, what do you want out of your friends? And if you're what you want out of your friends, out of your relationship in your church, out of the different things, and they don't balance, then you have to go back to the drawing board and look at that. Right? Why am I constantly
Exactly.
getting these people doing the same things? So, what I believe my sister is saying, and I'm saying to you that are listening, take inventory and don't wait for years to do it. Do it now. It is important to make that the inventory you take is in your best interest. Why?
Right.
Because you have to live in this body. You have to wake up every day. And we choose how we go through the day. We can start off and please be careful of the words you use. We can
Yes.
speak
Yes.
negatively over our own life, and these things will happen. You want to
Yes.
get up refreshed and revised, and you want to say God is a good. You want life to be good for you because you can decree it to be so.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we want to be healthy in our words, healthy in choosing the people that we want in our lives, healthy in the aspect of being okay with allowing someone that we trust to speak to us when we need help. And
Yes.
when you need help, listen, as a Christian
Ask
believer, a
for it.
pastor, I
Ask
have
for it.
people I'm accountable to. My sister Cynthia, different ones that I love and trust. If there is something I'm concerned with, I'm not too big to say, hey, this is what I feel about a thing. Can you give me wise insult and in words of wisdom? Because when you do that, you say you care about yourself as well. It'll keep you from hurting other people. If you
Yes.
don't see things right, you need somebody that's going to say, you're not doing this the right way. So I believe not only for pastors, especially pastors, and let me say this, even in the pastoral realm or leadership role, there should be people close enough around you to know when you're going through. And in that, we've seen far too many pastors and people in leadership commit suicide
Yes.
because maybe you felt you couldn't say anything. Yes, you should say
You
something
should say
because
something.
their lives are on the line.
Right.
We give
Because
so
the thing
much to
about it,
others.
I'm glad what you're saying, Pastor, because before you are a leader, before you are a pastor, before you are a singer, a praise and worship singer, before you are a musician, you are a person. You are a
Yes, ma'am.
human and you have emotions. And so
Yes,
that's where we need stop putting the title before your humanity. You a person.
yes,
You bleed, you
yes,
hurt, you cry,
yes,
we do all of those things. So we can't
yes,
allow the title.
yes,
We can't hide
yes.
behind the title. The title don't make us. We make the title. You make the
Absolutely.
title. You are still human. And so I don't have a problem. I tell people
Absolutely.
I'm going through when they ask me, how you doing, girl? This not I'm not this is not the day. It's not saying I'm putting negative out there. I'm not saying, how I know we get that lingo, blessed and highly favored. I know I'm already that. I know that. But I'm still in this human body
Come on.
and we still go through and we have pains and we have hurts and we have disappointment and it's okay to share because as long they say a strong it's hard when being a strong person because when you're strong nobody knows when you're hurt and nobody knows when you're crying and
Absolutely.
that's okay but we still have feelings and we still hurt and we still need each other and so sometimes you guys let's continue this going forward. 2021 is down the street. Okay? It's 2021. Don't take what's in 2020 that was a hindrance, that was a
Into
weight, that was something that hurt and held you back. Don't take it into 2021. Everybody I hear, they always say, girl, 2020 is a beast. 2020 was a beast. Yeah, and I said, but you know what? 2021 is gonna be even better.
come
It's
on.
ability.
And
And so you know
and you,
what? Let's take
yeah,
that inventory now. This is December. Even in the business
absolutely.
world, they take
Absolutely.
inventory at the year end. It's called year end closeout. They do a year end closeout before they go into the new year. And so that's what we want every lady, every one of us to sit here. I'm asking you to come back. Let's be accountable to each other and share and tell your
Yes,
friends, because
yes,
guess what? Just not that we're helping each other, talking, I'm sharing what Pastor is saying, and I'm looking at some of the comments. Those are helping each other. So let's open up, invite other ladies to come. We're every other Monday at
yes,
6 p.m., because we want to
yes,
share and we want to make sure that we are holding each other accountable, because we are
yes,
a community of women. And guess what? We all go through the same thing. Everybody has been dumped. Everybody had a bad
yes,
relationship. Everybody got their
yes,
feelings hurt. Everybody got lied on. I mean, we all been there, done that. We all done it. We all know how it feels. It don't feel good. It doesn't
right,
feel good. And
right.
so we need to just make sure that we're continually to hold each other accountable, and let's do that inventory, and okay, if somebody
Hmm.
say something, they see something on you that may not be right, that's fine.
Come
But
on.
tell them in love.
That's
Tell
it.
them in love. Come
And
to
I
me
wanted
in
to
love.
say this. And I wanted to say this too. The reason I brought up about pastors and leadership, because you said something that's very true. They are most vulnerable because of the perception. And what
Yes.
I was saying is that we have to take closer inventory with them as well. If you're serving with someone, if you're working with someone, of course, everyone, but don't always assume that because a person has a leadership role, all is well. I want to just share a quick testimony, and that is true. When my husband got sick, and I'm telling you, we know a lot of people in all of these various things, but there were various lifestyle changes we had to go through. He no longer could walk, so we were in a dealing with a wheelchair. The duties that I had as a wife, they time tripled. And why am I saying that? Because stress is real. Can I be real? Stress
Yes.
is real. But what I had to learn to do was, and I say this very humbly, I had to learn to ask for help. And then I had to only include people that were trustworthy to us in that process. Because as you're healing, that's the most vulnerable state you're in, right?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
then I said, I can no longer continue to do the housework and the various things I had to do with leading others, serving in the community. We had to ask for someone to come into our home. I say this because these are things that will preserve your life. When you feel you can do it all, you can stress yourself out and you can leave this earth way before your time.
Yes.
I'm going
Yes.
to talk to the caretaker right now. It is a difficult but yet blessed place to be in. Don't you feel bad about needing help. Don't
Right.
feel bad about reaching out, asking someone to help do something you've been 100% capable of doing for yourself. You will be happier, and so will those that you serve be happier. So I just wanted to say that because these things are so important.
Yes.
We've learned a lot through the process. I'm so grateful for your prayers and those that love us, for those that wrap their arms around us during this time. And we are doing better, but it takes time. Last
It
thing I
takes
want to
time.
say is don't rush the process.
The- I
Whatever
was
you're
just going
going
to say
through,
that.
it takes time. If you got a microwave kind of mentality, you're going to be hurt a lot of days because
Yes.
what you
Yes.
want doesn't always come in the time frame that you're going to get it. You have to
Exactly.
wait, I say, on the Lord and be of good courage. It's going to
Amen.
come. But just let God have his perfect way and what needs to be done in your life, and it will work out okay. You can be better. You can be healed. You can be strengthened on
Yes.
today. You have
Yes.
the sources, resources, the tools, the people that are all around you. And here's the last thing I want to say, sister. Ask the Lord to guide you. If you
Yes.
ask him, he will lead you to where you need to be.
Yes, he
But if
will.
we do it our way, we often go through unnecessary heartache and pain. And be okay when he says to let somebody go, do something a different way, because he knows the plans and he has for you. So I just pray that you're strengthened in all that we've shared. But I want to say thank you again to my beautiful sister, Evangelist Cynthia Bennett. You're such a blessing to so many women and men because we get it confused.
We
We
get
think
it.
that
Yep.
abuse is only for women. but
Nope.
men are abused too. So I want to
Yeah.
thank you for the work that you're doing and your husband and your family. And thank you for being the woman of God that you are. We need each other. And I
Yes,
thank
we
you for
do.
your sisterhood. And thank you through all today, all the trouble we went through that we finally get through.
Yeah,
God
I
bless you.
know.
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I'm so glad that Pastor Michelle Wright, my friend, my sister,
Yes.
my confidant, because we
Yes.
we sit up at night and we talk and we share
Yes.
and we pray and we cry and we encourage. We do all those things. And so,
Yes.
lady that's on this line, I want you to tell yourself, I am walking in my happiness. And when I
Yes.
say walking, that is a perpetual. You're not gonna say I'm
Yes.
gonna walk in my happiness. I am
Come on.
walking in my happiness. Meaning you're gonna continue walking it. You're gonna continue in it. You're gonna keep doing it because it's gonna be a perpetual thing. And so I want you to say that to yourself. I am walking in my happiness. And like Pastor Michelle Rice says, if it's time to let somebody, something, some idea go for your happiness, then put
Hmm.
yourself first, invest in yourself, and we ask you to go forward because guess what? The best is yet to come. You haven't seen anything yet because you've gone through the process. And yes, the process hurt, the process was painful, but you are still here. You are still alive. So that means, guess what? Whatever dream you have, I said it a couple of times, broadcast back, as long as you are alive, your dream does not have an expiration date. So
That's
guess
right.
what? Dream again, put your best foot forward and move forward. And again, I am asking all you ladies that's on here that's watching to come back on every other Monday. Now we're going to next Monday is the 22nd of 21st of December. We are every other Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Not only are we here on Facebook Live, we are also here through YouTube on our YouTube channel. And so we're looking forward to you being with us again. We're asking you to like and share this broadcast, this discussion, because we're going to have many more. You never know. You may be the next person I'm calling to get on here
Come
because
on.
guess what? Everybody got something to share that's going to help somebody. Okay. So I want to thank you. And I see you again. And Pastor Michelle Wright, I want to thank you. And I love you, my sis. I love you. I love you. I love you. You are just
I
an
love
awesome.
you.
Hi, good. And so thank you, ladies. Come back next Monday on the 21st, and we will see you then. Have a good night.
God